Welcome back to the channel and to what will be a part 2 really of what happened to this Bestech inverter when lightning struck it, when an EMP took it out and it blew up the USB section. If you can see there's a chip and there's a really big piece missing out of it. It completely destroyed the USB section, but for a second life I figured, well, its on-off switch still works, the main side still works, and that can be an upgrade for this one. Because this is a power cube, it's the cheapest inverter I could get. It's got a very cheap lithium iron phosphate battery on it, and you know, the inverter came off a car, so it doesn't have an on-off switch. The mains is going to be fine, the USB can come from the top of this. So first thing, let's put this back together. There we go, all put back together, and the next thing to do is to measure the wire length from the back of this to those two connections there. And I can cut this short, remove this and put the wires into the holes. Okay, in preparation of the transplant I've cut the wire. What I did was to put this at the side, measure the cable around so it'll go into those there, and what I also did off camera was in fact I took the back off, found out which one was the positive wire, and what I always do with this kind of a thing, negative gets pushed backwards because there's less of it than the positive, which is extending out further. And that's just how I remember minus and plus. Anyway, so now that's ready to go on, and this one should be just glued on the back of it, so I'll be able to take this one off next. And you know, it is kind of interesting how this is arranged. I don't use this output section because they're always current limited, and instead I found out that the negatives going into the negative on the battery part, but the positive going into the output section of the charge controller works perfectly well. I'm not sure if that's the way it's supposed to be done, but both of these power cubes that I've made are wired the same way and I've had absolutely zero issues. Like I say, this side here is normally current limited to quite a low amount because these things are not too hefty, but this way works great with the inverter side. So anyway, next thing, take these out, take this off. Yeah, it's just glued on. I've used this to prise underneath and loosen it a bit, and now there we are, the things come off. Fantastic. I'll clean this up a little, put some more glue down, and then that can go on. So it should look quite smart on there actually. I'm going to be using E6000. I found this to be a really good glue. It's slightly elastic even when it's completely set, but it makes everything firm as well. It's just a very good overall glue. So the next thing I'll do is to add the perfect amount of glue onto the bottom, onto these lines here, and stick it on there, and then wait for it to dry. If you watch Tronic's fix, you'll know what I mean by the perfect amount. Anyway. Perfect amount of glue. I'll come back in a couple of hours. While waiting for the glue, I thought I'd have a look with tariffs in mind at Amazon and see whether we can get a build for about $50 still. Well, what I did find was the same exact charge controller at $15.99, so that was good to know. Next along we've got the LiFePro 4 battery, which is actually a little larger than the one I've got on this power cube, and that one $19.99, so we'd need to find something around $14 to keep within the $50, and sure enough, $13.99, 150 watt power inverter, and it looks pretty much exactly the same as the Bestech that's going onto it. So yeah, fantastic, they can still be made for about $50. And the only things to add would be the XT60 connector. That just connects to the solar panel, can be any kind of connection you've got, and also a power on-off switch. A little while later and it's dried, and that does look pretty good on there. One thing I've noticed is I never have removed that plastic on the top. I'll do that now. See if I can grab it. There we go. Yes, minty fresh. Right, the next thing to do is to plug some things in and test if it works. So, what we've got over there is a mains lamp. Here's the cord, and I'll plug it in. Okay, plugged in, power on. Hey, there we go, the lamp is on, fantastic. So it does work absolutely fine, we've got the green light on there. The other thing to try is this USB fan over here. So I'll plug that in, there we are. And yes, that's fine. So, there we go, all up and running, absolutely fantastic, runs the devices, mains and USB, a nice upgrade. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.